Hey guys, very good evening and thank you for joining in, guys. So we will continue with NA10. So guys, what we will be doing is like, see, we have planned, a certain curriculum. We want to first let you know, guys, how these works. Okay. So let's go by the trainer's plan, and then after these sessions, we can have customized NA10 sessions, and we can do some more projects as well, and we can also give you some more workflows as well. Okay. So let's go as per her plan. If you have any questions as well, you can use the chat. Hold on to your questions, and then I will give you time to interact with her at the end of the program as well. Okay. So Yana, welcome again. So thank you for doing the session for us. And guys, if you have any questions or anything, please I'll keep the chat open to everybody. Yeah. And even if someone wants to talk to, you can just buzz and we can be able to unmute you. Okay. So are we ready? Shall we start then? So Yana, I have given you the right to put you as a co-host, so you can have control, and if you want to unmute someone or something, you can do it. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Cool. So let's begin then. So over to you.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So can you guys see my screen? Okay. Okay, yes. So last time we focused on a more introductory sort of session to get us into NA10. So this time we'll actually connect it to one of the software tools that Indian businesses are using every day. So this time we've made it a little more real life oriented. So I last time I saw four examples being thrown around a lot: CRM lead conversion, KYC completion, monthly invoicing, and the snow incidents. So I've prepared like sample workflows for all four of them, and we'll see a detailed workflow how to make one for the CRM lead conversion. So we'll look at how to deploy these bots, which are running with Tally, Zoho, Snow, WhatsApp, because Indian businesses use these kind of services every single day. So it is a little heavier on the theory as well this time, because I want you guys to understand the concepts before you apply them. And we'll look at all four examples. So let's see. First, I wanted to focus on the global agent economy and the statistics. So N8N itself, which is the tool we are using, is the most starred JavaScript project on GitHub in 2025, and it has over 230,000 active users. So it increases by 141% almost every single year. It's not a niche tool anymore. It's kind of becoming the standard infrastructure that a lot of businesses are adopting. And the projection that matters most is that by the end of this year, 40% of enterprise applicants are expected to include task specific AI agents. So that's up from less than 5% last year. So this is a change that's happening right now in real time, and there's a workforce shift happening beside it. The ratio of citizen developers, meaning non-technical people who are building automations using NA10, so people who don't know how to code, um, that ratio is approaching 4 to 1, which means that non-technical builders are also working on automating their processes. It's not just people who are coding who are doing using these tools like N8. So even if you don't code, this is a very essential skill to know in today's life. Okay.
Hi
So,
Anna. Anna, can you just increase your volume? Like
oh,
your voice sounds very low.
okay, okay, sure. Is this better?
So how's it, guys? Is it okay for you? Guys, try to use an headset. It'll be much better. Yeah, it's okay for me.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I wanted to also talk about the budget, because how what tool you use does matter, because in the long term you will have to sort of pay for the service, whether it's the API you're using for your AI or whatever platform using, because N8N is free for now for 14 days and it has some free OpenAI credits, but in the long term you do have to pay. So N8N is actually a per execution platform, which means it charges per every time you run your workflow completely. However many steps it has, it counts as one execution. And so a self-hosted N8N instance working running just on a virtual private server, which is like a small rented server, would be costing maybe 500 to 800 rupees a month in India. And it can replace what would cost maybe $500 on a per operation platform. Now, what is a per operation platform? Zapier and Make.com, these are competitors for N8N. These you can also build these workflows on these platforms, but every single step is a build operation. So of course it gets very expensive very quickly, especially if your workflow has a lot of nodes, a lot of processes happening in the middle. So that's why it's very important to understand if your business wants a per operation platform or a per execution platform. Okay. So a lot of businesses still in India do use WhatsApp because it connects vendors, suppliers, corporate professionals. So it is necessary for WhatsApp to also be included in the automation. So this is another thing. The architectural pattern that's becoming very common is that the WhatsApp business API is being used as a trigger now. So when a customer messages your business WhatsApp number asking about an order, requesting a quota, submitting a complaint, this message it becomes the trigger that we were talking about last time. So the trigger, I'll remind you, is the very first step in an automation. It's the thing that starts your entire workflow. So after that trigger, the same things that we did last time apply. You need to give it context, then the AI will reason and take some sort of action. So what makes this powerful is that WhatsApp has become the front door for almost all of today's four use cases that we're talking about. A customer could message asking about KYC status. A sales lead could come in through WhatsApp and instead of a form. And an employee can report an IT issue via WhatsApp. So N8N has a native WhatsApp business API support. So it does require a business API account through Meta, and it has an approval and verification process. So it's not instant, but for a business which is serious about using WhatsApp as a trigger, it is considered to be a very important sort of infrastructure that you should be looking at. Okay. So now the four use cases that we'll discuss today. So CRM lead conversion. So for those who are not familiar with this, this is a CRM just stands for customer relationship management, and a lot of big companies like Salesforce, Zoho, and HubSpot are giving services for this. So a lead is anyone who's shown interest but still hasn't bought the service. Basically, someone who's filled in a form, attended a demo. Conversion is the moment that the lead becomes a real opportunity where it confirms the budget, the decision maker is engaged, they're seriously actually going to buy your service. So today, a sales rep is manually deciding all of this, and the agent reads the notes and the emails, and the agent can accordingly check the conditions and automatically update the CRM stage. So the lead status can go from maybe in contact or not qualified to qualified instantly if the buyer is showing interest initially and is covering all the bases. There's a set budget, there is initiative, they are wanting, basically they're serious about buying whatever service you are offering. Then there's KYC completion, which is know your customer. This is an RBI mandated identity check for any bank, NBFC, or fintech. So before someone can open an account or use a financial service, customers have to upload Aadhaar, PAN card, sometimes proof of address, or some other compliance check. So, this is what the agent would do. It would just check if the name is spelled right, the photo is visible, if the document is not expired, if all the fields are present. So it's a very preliminary sort of check, unofficial one. Then comes monthly invoicing, where every B2B relationship in India needs GST compliant invoices. You need the proper tax breakdown, correct GST IN, and the SAC codes. So, for larger companies, invoicing means registration on the government's invoice registration portal. And to get that within, you need to get that within 24 hours of creation. So, this is a lot of accounting basically that teams do this manually for every client. And it's a lot of manual work that could be replaced or automated with an agent, because it's very clean, ready data that the agent can prepare and draft to communicate with the client. Then there is snow incidents. So ServiceNow is the dominant IT help desk platform. So whenever something happens where employees raise tickets or incidents through a portal because they have some sort of issue that they need help with, so someone in IT then manually creates a ticket for them, chooses the category and priority, how urgent is the issue at hand. So instead of the IT help desk doing that, our agent can just read the email of the employee, create the ticket automatically, and categorize it. So these are four use cases that Indian corporate professionals do use every single day, and how we could automate them with agents. So this is the workflow that we'll be diving in today. So this is the CRM lead conversion. So we will be using the platform called Zoho, and I have some sample data populated on it already, and we'll see how we can use automation to um, mark the leads as qualified if the existing conditions are met or not. Does anyone have any questions till now? Okay, okay. So let me just share my screen to start that. Okay. So, so I just want to know how many of you actually use Zoho in your businesses. If you can just put an indication in the chat box if you use Zoho or if you use some other service for your CRM. I see that someone uses their own CRM. Okay, Salesforce. Okay. So some of you have used Salesforce and then some use their own. So Zoho is for small to medium businesses, and it's actually the more used one in India compared to Salesforce. Salesforce is the international standard, and in fact, Salesforce actually requires more learning to get onto it. Zoho is very intuitive, and I think it's better for beginners, I guess. So I mean, it's a CRM, so the purpose is the same. It just manages your leads. So I think it's still pretty relevant to know how it would work from Zoho. So first we go to NA10. Okay, so this is my Zoho CRM. We can see that I have a couple leads here. So these are the names of the leads, emails, phone numbers, and the descriptions. I have filled this with fake data, and we're going to use this to see how the agent automates it. So first we'll create a new workflow. Okay. Mm. So I will trigger the workflow manually today. So I'll add a manual trigger. But of course, for real-time usage, we can add a scheduled trigger, which would maybe trigger the workflow every 5 minutes or every day or every week, depending on what your need is. So after that, we need the main actual trigger. So we need to get the leads from Zoho. So we add another node here called the Zoho CRM. And we say get many leads because that's what we want to do. And so here it's already connected to my account, but it would take you to the sign in. And one thing I noticed is that you do have to, when you edit, you need to change the access token to India, otherwise, it's not going to work. And so the resources lead, and we need to get many. You can return all of the leads as well, or you can set a limit. If you don't want your AI rate limit to get over, then you can set a limit to test it first. But if you're sure and you're deploying, you should be returning all of them. After that, so I'll just execute this step to show you how the data is going to look. So it got executed, and since it's connected to my account, you can see here the data has been pulled up. So I've written my name to as the lead owner for all of them, and then the companies are here, the emails, and the currency address. So everything has been filled in over here. Oh, someone has a question. Yes.
Hey, Yana, so this particular N8N is already interfaced with Zoho, or does it take any special privileges to connect with Zoho, or does it come as part of Zoho?
Okay, so a good question. So what happens is N8N is actually has integrations with a lot of existing software. So Zoho was already built in as one of them. So when you just click add a node here, the plus symbol, and then you do Zoho, it's already connected. You don't really need to do anything. When you open it on your laptop, you'll probably have to sign into your own Zoho account so it can access your data, but that's all. So if you, for example, use Salesforce, you could probably search up Salesforce and it would come up, and then accordingly you can just connect it to your account and see what operation is relevant to your automation. Okay, good, perfect. So after we get these leads, and I've shown you the test data here. Okay, what I did oh, okay. Um, yes.
Uh, Hi, Hana. This is Shiva. My question is like, see, as you said, like Salesforce or Salesforce CRM or what you said, Zoho CRM has been like intact in it. Okay, let's say if any service which is not intact with this N8 and N8, sorry, whatever the platform you are using right
Yes.
now. Okay, so what are the options? Like, do we need to connect with the APIs, or do we need to build up an integration APIs? Can you just like afterwards, not now, probably the platform which is not inbuilt in this N8N. Can we show that demo as well, like how to integrate with those API? Hello, can you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I'm saying
Oh,
definitely
so
we can do that.
yeah, sure, yeah, okay.
Okay. So, what you are saying actually, if it's not integrated in N8N, I think you have to be a little creative with how you get the data into N8N. Like, I think last time we had some questions about how to get resumes from Internshala or Naukri, the job boards in India, basically, which are not going to be, like the integration wouldn't be existing already on N8N. So one option was to have all the resumes sent in an email to someone, and then the email becomes the trigger, and then the agent just parses all of them. But I can definitely look into more ways on how to connect services which are not existing on N8N, and I can definitely talk about it tomorrow. Okay. So, does anyone have any other questions? Can it connect to any CRM or ERP system, or is it? Oh, okay. Okay. So okay, I think I'll move on. If anyone has any more questions, please drop them in the chat box. I'll get to them. So like I said, again, it just connects to your account, and after that you can execute this step. I always recommend doing this. Execute the step to see the input data so you can understand how to kind of manipulate it in the nodes. So this is the input data right now, of the stuff I have filled in my Zoho account. Okay. So after we get these leads, now because we have multiple leads and we need the agent to look into every single one, we do this thing called loop over items. So what this does basically is it makes sure that the agent reads every single lead. Like for example, it'll read Carissa Kidman's lead, and then after it processes the whole thing, it'll read the second lead, then the third one, then the fourth one. So it continues. Um, so we keep the size one because we wanted to process every single one, and that's it. We just add that. So you can see that the arrow just goes back into itself because it's a loop. And once it's done, we need to actually connect it to an AI model. So I'm using OpenAI because I have credits on my OpenAI service. So I will use messenger model. So for any text related operation, I think messenger model is a very generic and good use case. You can see the other ones here and see which one looks appropriate for your workflow. But for generic ones, messenger model should work well. And it's connected to my OpenAI account. So when you start N8N, you will get free credits, and I was using them last time, but they got over, so I had to pay some money and get some credits. So that'll happen to you guys as well. But for testing, you should be able to use the free credits with like small amounts of data. So we'll have to choose a model. You can research whichever model looks good for your use case, but for now, I will use 4 mini. Yeah, here. So now here the prompt. Now the prompt is an important part of how the AI is actually working, because like I think I got a couple questions last time where you guys asked me how the parameters or the conditions work in deciding, like how does the model actually decide how to take action. So that everything related to what the model is doing will be done in messenger model node, because um, basically you have to put in as much context, as much knowledge as you want in this to make the agent's output very precise and very predictable. That's the goal, to make it predictable so you know exactly how it's going to execute. So for the prompt, I have prepared a prompt already and I will be using that. I will just show you in a second. Okay. So this is my prompt. It says you are a sales assistant for an Indian B2B company. Read this lead record and check three things based on any notes, description, or details available. So the lead name is the lead's name here. So the thing is, I have filled this in with the JSON in the brackets, but if you don't want to, one way you can do it is you can just use this here, the input. So if you execute the previous nodes, like I just said, you'll probably have the data available to you and it show. So if it's green, the stuff inside the brackets, then that means that the syntax is okay and the data, like the thing you've written inside is making sense. Otherwise, it'll be red, as you can see here. So if you don't want to write this manually, you can go here in the input and then search the lead name and then you can drag it over here. Let me just find it. 1 second. Okay. For example, lead status is here. I want lead status to come in here. So I will just drag lead status and put it in here, and that's all. So you can do that for whatever data you want. If you want the AI to have other data in your CRM as well, maybe the revenue and maybe the ratings or something else to make the decision, you can put it in, definitely. So this completely depends on you, how you prompt engineer it. So I've just put three basic conditions where has the budget been confirmed? Then if the decision maker is present and engaged. So if it's someone who's at a good position like a CTO, a founder, a VP, director, if it's someone who's important and knows what they're doing basically. And the third one is if there is a clear buying signal. So if there are timelines, contracts, next steps, basically if the person has indicated exactly how they want to buy your service. Someone has a question. Yes. Hello.
For the agent.
Uh, Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yana?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Could you explain me what is the role and the prompt you are giving, whether it is a system prompt or the user prompt? And could you explain me on the role?
Oh,
Why it
the
is?
role. Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, here the user prompt just means that you send the message. This is the most generic one. So basically, right now, when you would be using Chat GPT or Claude or whatever, and you just put in your input and you get a response back. So that's the most generic use case. And then assistant means, for example, you'll tell, for example, I want the AI or I want Chat GPT to tell me they act as if they are a senior recruiter at Nvidia and tell me if my resume is good enough. So then I would do assistant and be like, act as senior recruiter at Nvidia and analyze a math score for my resume, give it a score between 1 and 100, something like that. And then system is used to set the model's behavior for the next user message. So system basically just means like you could probably set the temperature of the output. So the temperature means how creative the output can get or how predictable it can stay. So if so it more creativity is a good thing, but at the same time it can cause the model to hallucinate wrong data that does not exist. So at least for automations that are replacing very manual work, the temperature should be low so it's predictable and it's doing what it's expected to do. Uh, did that answer your question? Yeah.
Sorry, but if you can just give a very small brief on the loop times within the workflow, what is the functionality
Of
that it?
the loop?
Yeah, there is a tool which you have dropped, right? Loop time.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go back to that. Okay. Um, so the loop basically just means that the Zoho node gets all the leads, right? But we want the model to process each and every single lead. So the loop is just making sure you are going through all of the leads. So it's going over the first lead, and then it's going over the second lead, and then the third lead, and then the fourth lead. It keeps happening till the leads get over. You just want it to process all the data. That's all. Okay, perfect. So I was talking about the prompt. So, like I said, I have just set three very simple conditions. And I will say that one thing that's important in your prompt is you need to specify how the agent should return the output, because it will your next nodes, the things you do after this node, the things you set will be dependent on the output. So you need to control how the model is outputting the data. So here I have said just return valid JSON, no other text, no markdown formatting. And I've put the format here. This is a very simple JSON format. It's inside brackets and it just says budget confirmed, decision maker present or not, buying signal, and reasoning. So these are the three parameters that I'm making my decision on if the lead should be qualified or not. And reasoning is just a summary of why. So I've also told it to use lowercase true false. So it's again, I've just tried to make the output as predictable as possible, not creative. So it knows exactly what to do. So after that, uh, okay, we've chosen a model and we've put the prompt. That's all we need to do here. And we did message a model. So basically what the setup till now is doing is it will get all the leads and put them through the AI, and the AI will run itself on all the leads and get the output. After that, now we need an if statement, because now there's two possibilities. Either we qualify the lead or we don't qualify the lead. So after the model kind of sees all the data and outputs its decision, we need an if condition that, like, similar to what we used last time. So we do need to understand what the conditions will be. So I'm going to execute the messenger model node and we'll see the input data that comes in. Okay. So here it says it's given the output for one of the leads. So it said budget confirmed is true, decision maker present is true, buying signal is also true for this sort of thing. So this is just a sample output for one of the leads, and it's good to have the sample output so you can kind of fill in the conditions for the if statement. So what we do want is, like I said, my automation will depend on three things: the budget confirmed, the decision maker being present, and the buying signal. So let's do the first one where it says budget confirmed is true. So I want budget confirmed is true. Okay. So I want the text to contain budget confirmed is true. And I also want the text to contain that the decision maker present is true. Are we providing any context about leads? How is it validated? Okay, so there's a question in the chat that is asking about the context for how we are validating or qualifying the leads. So, like I said, in everything about how the agent is working, like how the AI is working, we are providing all the information in the OpenAI node. So, in the prompt itself, all basically that's the only place you could control about how the AI will analyze and output the information. So here for my automation, I just need three things to be met. So because of that, I have put very simply the three things I want to be met. But of course, everyone will have different criteria. Maybe you will validate leads based on annual revenue. Oh yeah, definitely. I can share the sample prompt. Here, 1 second. Let me put it in. Okay, so it's a little over the word limit. 1 second. And okay, here. I have put it in. And okay. Yeah, I put it in two separate messages. So you guys can look at that. And okay. So I okay, okay. So we put and again, and the text, we drag it here. If it contains the buying signal to be true. Now, I will say one thing, because this process of validating a lead is very sort of, it depends on business to business how you would validate it. You should be putting as much information, as much context as you can in the prompt, because that's basically the only place you can control how the AI is making its decision. So I would suggest making a list of parameters that your business is looking for, and maybe the approved ranges, maybe if you want the revenue to be between a certain range, or how strong you want the buyer signal to be. So I would suggest brainstorming and working a lot on the prompt itself, because once you put in the prompt, then the AI will automate everything. So basically the only work you actually have to do is work on the prompt itself. So for the purposes of this very simple demo, I've only put 3 factors into deciding if the lead should be qualified or not. So again, after we do these 3 things, after that, the if is done, and we can just see, we can execute this. Okay. So right now it's sending all of them to the false branch, which should not be happening. 1 second. Okay, it's because here the output has colons, and in my input there is an equal to. Okay, so this is why executing your input and output is very important to kind of debug how and what is happening. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it classified 4 of the leads as true and 2 as false. So it is working now. Okay. Is there any specific reason for using text over Boolean value? Uh, okay. So the only reason we're using text over Boolean value is because here you can check the input of the AI model. So because of how we've structured the prompt, the AI is giving a JSON text. So we want to be able to make out if the leads should be qualified from this text or not. So we're using a very simple way to tell. So I'm just putting if the text contains budget confirmed is true, if it contains this, and if it contains this, then that means the AI has evaluated it to be a qualified lead. So I've put that in my if. So after that is done, we have 2 possibilities. Either the lead is qualified or not. Okay, wait. So if the lead is qualified, now this again depends business to business what would happen if the lead is qualified. Some businesses would just update it in their CRM. Some would actually send out emails to the people whose leads are updated, or they would update management or leadership. So this completely depends on your business operations. You can definitely attach several nodes. I got this question last time, I remember. So you can maybe add another AI node here to draft a sample email about the leads that are qualified and send it to the leads emails. Or you can tell the AI to kind of write an email for your leadership or your CEO or whoever is overseeing the lead qualification, and send it to them. So again, you can keep adding as many nodes as you want, because that's all agent automation is, at least in N8N. You just have to keep adding in the nodes which are relevant to how you are operating in your business. That's all. You just have to find the nodes and you have to work a little on the prompt. Okay, so now again, if the lead is qualified, then we go to the Zoho CRM and we have to update the lead. So we do update a lead. Okay. Now, how are we updating the lead? So first we need to match what lead to update. So we need the ID. So we use the ID of the lead. One second. We can use it from get many leads. Mhm. Okay. Mm, I think it's this. So we'll put that in. Mm, Okay. And after that, the fields to update. So what are we updating? We'll be updating the lead status, and we'll be setting the lead status. So first we can check if the lead status has come in through the input. Let's see. Mm, okay, so I don't think it has come in through the data, but we can set it regardless. Okay. We can set it. So in Zoho, the lead status, this is also very important. We need to be able to check exactly what the service is saying. One second. Here. So here it says attempted to contact, and you can see the other sort of possibilities. So it doesn't just say qualified, it says pre-qualified. So we'll have to use the exact same wording. Okay. And so the lead gets updated if it is true. And then, okay, someone has a question. Yes.
Uh, hi, Anna. I've seen in that input lead status exists. You scrolled
Oh,
up and down. Yes, it exists.
okay. Wait. Thank you so much. One
So
second.
that, yeah, it was there,
Uh,
lead status.
okay. One second. Help me out. Lead status. Oh, here. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Huh? Yeah, okay, thank you. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's true. It is here. Um, but we need to change it. So I guess we just put in pre-qualified. Um, I think fixed should work. Okay. Could you please the lead ID? I believe we are updating for owner ID. So the owner ID, okay. One second. Oh, so you're saying the lead ID? Okay, okay, I got it. So here, one second. Is this what you were saying? Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so my bad. We had to use the lead ID. I accidentally used the owner ID. So now that we've put in the lead ID and we've said pre-qualified, it should work. Um, so that's what happens when the if condition is true. If it's false, nothing should happen. So we can leave it blank, but a better way to kind of close it would be just to put a no op, which just means no operation, so nothing happens. And the last thing that we would do is we would connect it back to the loop because we want this to happen to every single lead. So that's what I was getting at when we've added this. So we need the process, the entire automation to run on all the data. So first on the first lead, it'll check everything. If all the parameters are met, it'll update it. And then it'll again go and loop to the second one. Then maybe nothing happens. It doesn't meet the criteria. So again, it has to go and do the third lead. And then maybe if the third lead is the last one, it'll finish the workflow and then end on its own. Why is the OpenAI chat model asking for own API key? Okay, so have you just made the account right now? Okay, no, it should be if it's if you just made it, then you should be able to claim the free credits. Uh, maybe if you click on no credentials yet, maybe it'll say free credits because every time I created a new account, it was allowing me to put in the free credits. So you can look into that. It definitely has to work. No. Yeah. You don't need your own API key, not in an hour, unless you've run something on your model which has used its usage. It does get over pretty quickly if you put a lot of data in because I right now, okay, got it. You tried running it for 5 times. Okay. So it must have got over by now then, the free credits. So either you can create a new account with a new Gmail and then be able to use it, but also at the same time, anytime I think it flags you if you keep trying to use different emails from the same IP address or something like that because I tried doing it and the third time I tried doing it, it did not let me make the account, so I had to pay for the API key. So you can check if there's another way you can get the free account, then definitely go for it. Otherwise, you might have to pay maybe a little bit like $5 to kind of start running this. Okay, so let's see. We'll execute the workflow. Does anyone have any other questions till it's executing? Can we use Claude? Definitely, we can use whatever AI model we want. You can even use Gemini. Gemini also has a little bit of free usage in it, but it's very little. I think it's lesser than OpenAI as well, the free usage. Um, Claude too, you can connect to your Anthropic key. Okay, so see, it's updating the lead. The green means that it's working and it's reached that node. So right now, basically, the red means it's working in the messenger model and the loop is going on. So you can just track kind of how it's flowing. Um, it's taking a while because there's a couple of leads to update. In this case, for CRM being the source, what would be the trigger for the automation? Okay, exactly. So right now I have used execute workflow, like just clicking the button as a trigger, but obviously for a real world case, you would want to probably schedule it for some time. Maybe you can schedule it every 5 minutes and then see if there are any changes, only then you trigger the workflow. That's how you kind of save on your AI usage. And So I guess that's the trigger. You kind of just see if there are any changes in every maybe 5 minutes or 15 minutes or every single day at some point of time, every morning. Yeah. So that you can get creative with. Any other questions? Sorry, it's taking a while because I think I have a couple records. It's gone through, I think, 3 of them. I have, let's see how many I have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. Okay, so 4 are done. I also saw the messages for what you guys wanted me to cover. I saw them today itself, so I will look into them for tomorrow. So I got the message that we want to try creating a flow that posts automatically on our LinkedIn wall, and then an agent that connects with any ERP system to run some jobs by entering input data and downloading the generated report. So I got these 2 ideas and I can look into them. I will definitely get back to that for tomorrow's class. Why is the loop over time MS time milliseconds having a run count of 12 plus? So right now, because my model is pretty slow, I've used a cheap one. Also add Instagram to the list if time permits. Okay, definitely. So I've chosen a very slow model to save on money, but 1 second. How can we add human in the loop in this automation process to make final decisions for the report? Okay, definitely. I'll cover that right now itself. Okay, let me just pause this workflow for now. So okay, so the human in loop part, we have to be a little creative with how we add a human in the loop. So there's different ways. Definitely one of them can be an email or some sort of check, sending a form. So for example, if we want to add a human before qualifying the lead. So for example, here we updated the lead, right? If the if statement is true. But before that, we want human approval. Okay. So what we can do is if it's true, we can add a Gmail node over here. We instead of the update a lead node, we can add a Gmail node, and we can send an email to whoever you want to send it to with a summary of all the leads that you want to qualify. And then if you want to qualify them, then maybe you reply to the email saying yes to all the questions, and then it will again intercept it. And the trigger can be another a workflow that gets triggered with the response email that you send. So if everything you say is yes, 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 then it will get triggered and then it'll actually perform the updating of the lead. How do you add guardrails and protect from prompt injection? Can you elaborate on what this question is trying to say, please? I don't mind if you want to come on the mic and maybe say. Okay. So from what I can understand, the prompt injection guardrails. So you're asking about like the security infrastructure in this. So I'm not too sure about that. I will look into it and I will definitely get back to you tomorrow. Okay. So this was the whole workflow that would basically update a lead or not. So it should ideally update your CRM here. And whatever CRM you use, you can just find the nodes on NA10, whether it's Salesforce or something else. Yes, on security. Yes. Okay. So I'll definitely look into your question and I'll get back tomorrow. Okay. So my point is basically whatever software you do want to use, you just have to find your API trigger on NA10. And if you can't, then there are very creative ways. Definitely, we can add Excel data as well. So we can add spreadsheet data. The most difficult part in configuring an N8N workflow is correctly setting the parameters in the nodes, and there are hundreds of nodes to use. So, is there a way to learn the node parameters and associated configurations fast? Definitely, that is a very true thing. There is a lot of possible workflows you could make for the same automation, and knowing what is there will help you cut down on time. So I can come up with a small kind of intro guide and I'll show it tomorrow in identifying what nodes to use, what parameters to use, maybe what models to use to maybe save money. Because right now the workflow was running pretty slow because I was using a cheap model. But definitely I'll answer this question for tomorrow as well. So, how can we give role-based access? Can you please elaborate on what you mean by that? Like role-based access, where exactly? Mm, okay. Uh, what application are you talking about? Like NA10 or I don't understand. So I think the automation of the bot itself, it depends on what workflow you are automating. Uh, So, well, anytime anyone can access it, but again, the automation of the data, it connects whatever workflow you're making, it connects to your account. So only the account that's logged in, that data will be used by the workflow itself. Like for example, I was using Zoho right now, so it was only using data that was in my workflow. The workflow when we deployed in real time. Yeah, so definitely it'll just use the data that is on whatever account you have signed in with. So, for example, your business has an account and you've signed into it. It will be using all the data from that account. And you can definitely implement more role-based access by having so you kind of have to be sure about what account you link to N8N and whatever data is on it will be used by N8N. So that is completely in your control then. Okay. Uh, mm, I'll continue with the other applications that we were looking at. So I also wanted to talk a little about KYC because someone brought it up last time. So this is a regulatory compliance, and so precision matters a lot here. So the trigger would be when a customer would upload their identity document, maybe their Aadhaar card, their PAN card, sometimes their passport. So it would be through your app or a web portal. So when the customer sends a photo of the document, this is where OCR actually comes in. So you would probably have to use some sort of OCR tool. Like there's one by Google. So it would convert the image into readable text. Then the agent can actually parse this text because what the agent will actually do, you can let the agent also itself process that data. But again, I think it would just use a lot of your usage, and you can just have an OCR tool in the middle that will save your agent or your API being called a lot. So the agent will extract whatever the OCR service gives it, and then it'll analyze all of that, it'll run a completeness, consistency check. If the required fields are present, legible, if the name on the document matches whatever the customer has typed in, if it is one of the accepted documents, and if there's anything that indicates tampering or not. Again, the prompt engineering here matters a lot. And if everything checks out, the agent can mark the KYC status as auto verified and pending final approval. So this is again where human in loop should be there, because you're dealing with sensitive data here. So you can have that pending final approval kind of check ready, which would notify the compliance team or whoever is in charge of putting the final approval. Because here, this is a case where the human would always make the final call. And if something is wrong, then the human does not have to be involved. The agent can just immediately email the customer saying the photo's blurry, or the name is a mismatch, wrong document type. So this can be fixed immediately without the human reviewer having to say, oh, this is an obvious error, like you are submitting a passport when we want you to submit an Aadhaar. So it saves on the human reviewer's time. And so this is not an identity verification against government database. That would be something like a licensed verification API like DigiLocker or another commercial service. This is just for kind of making sure that the document data is matching with whatever data is entered by the user. Okay, now then there's monthly invoicing as well. So here the trigger could be a schedule node, which you can set once for the first of every month, for example, at 9 a.m. Then the agent would read your client list from a spreadsheet, and then it will check the client name, the GSTIN, what was billed, the amount, if the usage data, if it's metered or usage based. Um, and then for each client, the AI will draft the invoice line item description. And instead of someone typing consulting or whatever every month, the AI will write like professional consulting services rendered for the period March 2026 as per the statement of work dated X. So basically, it's just taking the manual work out of monthly invoicing and kind of preparing the invoice on its own based on whatever has been done. And the action is where looping will matter. Again, the loop we saw in CRM we would use here. The agent will go through the client list one at a time using the split in batches or the loop, which we just saw. It'll generate every customer's invoice and then send the client communication every single time. Then the important thing here is that the actual GST, getting the IRN from the government's portal, this happens inside Tally or Zoho Books or whatever service you're using, because those platforms are already built and certified for that integration. So what the agent does is ensure a clean, accurate kind of a data flow into that software. So it's just replacing the manual drafting and client communication for, say, more than 50 invoices you are giving every single month. The compliance steps are going to stay where they are. The agent just removes the busy work around it. Okay. And this is the last use case I wanted to cover, this ServiceNow incident. So again, I want to recap that ServiceNow incidents are just if any employee in your organization has some sort of IT issue, they raise it with the IT team. For example, maybe they're getting logged out of their software again and again, so they will send IT an email. Then what IT actually does is IT will raise the issue, like raise a ticket for it, so you can automate that process. So the trigger would be a new email comes into the IT help desk, and so then the agent will read the email and classify it in three dimensions that ServiceNow actually uses: hardware, software, network access. And then it will categorize impact as well, how much business disruption it is causing. So high, medium, low. So for example, if someone keeps getting logged out of their account again and again, they can't do any work. So that would be a high priority sort of issue. So it classifies into high, medium, low. And then the urgency. So something like the example I'm using would be very time sensitive. So it would also be classified based on what language was used in the email. Like if, for example, you say this is an urgent issue in the email, then the agent will realize that and then mark the time sensitivity to be high. Again, definitely you can control how the agent is classifying and thinking in the prompt itself. So you have to put a lot of work into the prompt and kind of keep testing it again and again to see if it's giving you the expected output or not. After the AI classifies it and reads and analyzes it, the action that the agent takes will be directly in ServiceNow's API. It will use this node called the HTTP request node. Now, this is a somewhat slightly complex node on N8N because it requires you to have a little bit of knowledge about HTTP protocol like get and post. So I can cover that tomorrow if you guys are interested in it. So this is a universal connector. So the created incident will come back with a ticket number and the agent replies to the employee automatically. So what I do want to highlight is that the exact pattern of reading the message, classifying into category, impact, urgency, then creating a ticket, this works identically whether the input is an email or a WhatsApp message. If your IT help desk is getting messages via WhatsApp, then also you can still use this workflow. So the entire thing would be identical, just your trigger would be different. So I wanted to highlight another use case of an Indian business that's actually done this. So the pat so there's a pattern where, for example, a small business, say a 15% digital agency or a regional logistics company, say they have one or two people who are doing repetitive admin work, and they are receiving 30 to 40 vendor invoices every month. They are manually opening every PDF, they're typing the details, everything is very manual, repetitive, and labor oriented. So what exactly happens? Someone in the business, and this is the important part, it's not always a developer, it's not always someone who is coding. Even people who don't code have been doing automation because it is so simple nowadays. You saw on N8N, I barely had to code anything. Even if you consider just writing the JSON, the input data, that's all I had to type in manually. Other than that and the prompt, you just have to drag the nodes. You have to kind of experiment a little, but it's very simple to do. And it's something you should be definitely doing in this industry. So then that business could probably set up some sort of automation. They start with one workflow, and they kind of automate maybe something that's painful, repetitive, maybe the monthly invoices. If there's just two people and 40 invoices, definitely that would be a lot of work. And this then becomes the proof point that would justify automating another workflow. So then afterward, finally, maybe that one workflow becomes three workflows and five workflows, and then it just automates everything that can possibly be automated in the business. So this would save a lot of time, save a lot of time and energy on the people in the business so they can focus on what actually matters. And definitely having a human in the loop would be important in the early stages when you don't know how the agent is working. Definitely you can put yourself in the loop and approve whatever your agent is doing and kind of use the approval as a trigger for maybe another workflow or stopping it or however you see fit. So it's the same recipe. That's another thing I wanted to highlight. This is the same five-step model we saw last time. So there's a trigger, there's a context, there's reasoning, there's action, and then there's memory. So again, I'll just recap one last time because this is all you need to know. You need a trigger, which is maybe your WhatsApp messages, your emails, your CRM gets updated, whatever it is. And then the context would be extra, the prompt that you're sending in to the AI. So you have to work a lot on the context. So the context and trigger make up for the input part of your agent, and then the agent will reason and take an action. And I think as the person automating it, you should make this process as predictable as possible so that the agent does not have to get creative and hallucinate or do something that's out of its bounds. you should definitely, that's why, run a couple of trials, experiment a little with different models, different even different companies like Anthropic maybe, then OpenAI, then there's Gemini. So there's a lot of different tools on the market. You should look into what fits your business needs. And then having memory again definitely helps, especially if you're building say you are building a customer service agent on your website. It should if it remembers whatever issues, whatever customer service your customer had requested before, then definitely it helps your customer service, and it kind of just improves the overall model response. So definitely this is very important and very predictable as well. So yeah, this is basically it. Just keep experimenting and um, trying out everything till you kind of fix one certain workflow for one process. So I guess that's it for today's session. Does anyone have any questions? Because we're done for today. And please drop the any questions you guys have or any suggestions for tomorrow's lecture. I can work on integrating them in tomorrow's session as well. So if you guys can tell me early on as well. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope I did a good job at um, explaining everything. Could you export and share the JSON? What JSON are you talking about? Like the prompt? So I put the prompt earlier in the chat. I'll just put it in again. Mm. How much does it cost for OpenAI's APIs to make 100 hits? Okay, so that depends on what you mean by 100 hits. Like what exactly, like you're calling the model 100 times? Or are you like running the process 100 times? So if you're talking about, there are two steps in the flow where we are using this API, and for running the flow 50 times. Okay, so basically you're calling okay. So that again depends on what model you're using, because OpenAI has a couple of them, and what exactly you're using them for, like image generation or video creation. That would definitely be a lot more. But I think generic use would be like under $5, I think definitely you could do. Okay, someone has a question. Oh,
Hi, Anna.
hi.
Yeah, could you export the workflow which we have created in this session, demo session, and share it so that I can refer to it later?
Yeah, I can put a screenshot of it.
We can able to okay. Yeah, screenshot will work, or there is an option to export as a JSON.
Okay, I'll look into that, definitely. Share. Mm. Okay, I've put the screenshot for now. I hope that's fine. Okay, I'm here for a couple more minutes if anyone has any questions, and otherwise we can just meet.
Check. So
Hello.
guys, I will be uploading the video tonight itself. So kindly go through it if you need anything. And I will put all the prompts and everything as a document as well for your reference. And tomorrow we will meet at 3 p.m. And so we can catch up. Yeah. So how's it going, guys? We are not teaching you well. Yeah, great. How much is great? Okay, great. So thanks, Jana. Again, thanks for your time and thank you guys. The guys keep attending these sessions. We need more strength on Saturdays because if you don't do this on Saturdays, no, when you come for Sundays, there will be more questions and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't do a session on last. Otherwise, if I see this strength going down on Saturdays, then probably we can do only on Sundays. Okay, because the main objective is, I want you guys to utilize these, the content that is more important. Yeah. So once again, thank you guys. And guys, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channels and share your thoughts on a LinkedIn, tag us so that people know what we are doing. And we will plan some more sessions. If you need anything customized, please share it in the group and I will get the trainers for you guys. Okay. So thank you guys. Yana, we'll catch you tomorrow then.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye.